Hmm?
What are you doing?
Nothing. Just filming you taping out the frame I knocked.
Stop it!
Hi, and welcome to a van called Rupert. I'm sat in the front of the cab. There's no seat. I'm going to be finished off the walkthrough today. Now, the channel's now got a producer, so shout out to producer Dave. So we'll be able to make some better videos and we can show you how we're doing these things. Today I'll be finishing off the walkthrough, so if I switch the camera around I can show you what's going on there. Okay, so yesterday I cut through the walkthrough. Now this is the bit that puts a lot of people off doing a Luton conversion because they find it a bit scary. Well, I'm going to show you how it's done. So essentially most vans, you'll see they have a window here. You got to remove that, and then you chop down with a grinder all the way down. I've got these little metal studs here which are handy, but if you didn't have them you'd just screw some wood to it and make your own noggins up. Now where you cut through the cab, obviously that's steel. This here on the box is alley, so that's no problem, you ain't got to worry about this. But this steel here, you can't leave that bare metal, otherwise you're going to let rust get in. So I'm just going to whack a bit of the old Amorite on it. Some people say Amorite doesn't stop rust, but they're getting confused. It's when they haven't cleaned away fresh rust, rust that already exists, and paint over it. What happens is the rust continues behind the paint and eventually the thing rots away and you've just got a layer of Amorite basically. Now if you putting it straight onto unrusted metal, it's great, nothing will get in it and that won't rust. So that's what we're doing now. Just a little brush, little pot of Amorite, just dab 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 around the edges, and then I can start framing out with timber. These bits where the window used to be, I'll basically cut. I don't know if I've got enough alley left from cutting out this, or I'll get a bit of perspex or something, and you just seal it back in. Just cut a piece, seal it in, and then you frame across. There's a little void down here between the two. Just timber, treat the timber, it's fine, as long as it's sealed in. And that's how you do a walkthrough, so I will set about painting it. Right, I've dabbed the Amorite all around the edge. Up here, where there was the window, there's a tiny little bit of rust just starting there and on there. So I've got that off with a file, right off, all the way off. Like I said, they don't paint over the rust, it will continue to rust behind the Amorite. And then that's been dabbed in all around. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to go and cut the timbers to frame this out. Now, basically, first of all, I'll be framing off here. So I'll be cutting some bits of pallet wood to go against that, and then I'll screw through from this side into that. So we're making a frame all the way around the internal hole, and then once that's in place, then we can build more framework off that. So on a little step here as you come down. It doesn't matter about any of this because the inside of the cab will be covered in ply, and then that ply I'll probably just whack some wallpaper over it of some kind, or maybe stain it, don't know. But yeah, we'll ply out the back so it's all just one wooden unit through a door frame into there. The main box frame's in. I whipped that up and it's just held in with tech screws at the minute. I just put it in temporary to make sure it all fits fine, and then I'll pull the tech screws out and I'll seal it in with some sticks like shit. Little tip that I do when I'm making these box frames, rather than having to mess around with clamps and pilot drills and changing drill bits in and out if you drill for a screwdriver, what I do is obviously proper decent wood glue Evo stick, exterior always, even inside, and then I just buzz them together with the little tech screws, same as what I fixed all the panels saw with like dry line screws because they got self tappers. Now drill through without splitting the wood and hold it all together, and and then you just go back around and pull them out and drive in your real screws. I've got to take this back out, like I said, and I'm going to stick it with some sticks like shit and put the tech screws back in. But I'm also going to paint the outside just to keep it weatherproof. And as you can see, I had to double check because I thought you could, but I had to double check. You can just whack Amorite straight onto wood and it covers. It's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be because no one's going to see that. It's just to stop the wood corroding, because obviously I'll be exposed to the elements under there, etc. So that's what I'm going to do next. Whip it out, paint it, put it back in, and then once you've got that frame there, you just start building off that. So that's the frame given a coat of Amorite. I mean, that's pallet wood anyway, and pallet wood sprayed with a lot of stuff that preserves it. So now I've coated it in Amorite. In all honesty, it will probably take longer to rot than the rest of the van. Gonna go do some more things while that dries, and then we'll put that back in with some sticks like shit and some tech screws, and that's the first fix of the walkthrough done. Right, so the box frame got painted on either side, on the outside that's going to face the exterior, and then it's fixed in with screws all the way around the back here, from that side, from inside the box, and then from in the cab here we're fixed through that way and there into that. Then there's this piece of wood here which is screwed where the window used to fix, and then it's screwed that way into there. So I will get this piece of ply and I'll paint the back of that, and then that will fasten over there, covering the hole. Once that's in, you're weather tight. All of this is been sealed with this stuff, the sticks like shit all weather adhesive, and that's what I'll stick this on with in a minute. And then at that point you've got your sealed and your solid, and then you could just ply over this and you've just got a nice sheet of ply. And obviously the edges where everything joins, you can put architrave around, and it just becomes like a normal door frame then. Put nice bit of wood on the bottom for the ledge as you walk through. Then when you go through to the other side, I'm going to have to cut a few lengths of these, a couple of lengths of this top hat stud to run down here, so that I've got something to fasten the board to on the edge. Obviously put the insulation back down here, so then the ply runs across with the membrane and architrave around, and then that will be it. That will be the walkthrough into the cab done. It's quite good about with these Citra relays and the Gicatos and that is the handbrake is on the right hand side, so it just and the gear sticks on the dash, so it just lends itself to the walkthrough. You've got that clear place. Obviously I'll get rid of this stupid armrest. I hate the armrests anyway, they just get in the way. I'll take that off. At some point I've got some nice seats out of an old Alpha GTV, and they will get welded onto the original bracket, so there'll just be two leather seats in the front and the centre walkthrough. And that's it. That's all the first fix done. That's all there is to it. You've seen stage by stage how to do a cab walkthrough. How you finish it, that's up to you. I'm gonna just ply out the back, all of this, and wallpaper it. I'll put some architrave around the edge as you walk through. I'm probably going to cover this with some ply, and then put the same wood flooring on it as what will be inside, so you've got some continuity. That's it. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, if you're an absolute animal, you could just leave it as it is, but I'm not. I'm going to make it pretty. So that's how you do it. That's how you do the dreaded and very much overhyped Luton van walkthrough. Right, now I'm framing around the hole. So there we go. That stud that runs down it, they were like my lashing straps in this truck. I had lashing straps and racking in here, which I had to spend, it took me like 2 days to hack it all out of a grinder. I did have some footage of doing it, but that was on my old S6, which got smashed. So this stuff, if you want to get it, you can get it from dryline suppliers, and they will refer to it as top hat. for obvious reasons. So once that's framed around, then I'll put my plywood to it with the insulation underneath, and I'll seal it all in with the foil tape before I go. Board over, and then we'll put our facing timbers, sorry, wasn't in shot, around there. That's it all insulated, foil taped around onto the timber so it's nice and sealed, because obviously, like I say, there's going to be a fascia over that. So now all I've got to do is Tyvek it. So that's it all Tyveked in. So all I have to do now is just board it over. But I haven't got any boards large enough at the moment. All I've got is what's in my little store there, and they're all too small. So I'll have to, I'm going to need to buy like another 6 full sheets of 9mm ply to finish that and do my ceiling, but that can wait. There's more pressing jobs. I think what I'm going to move on to next is closing this up. I'm building my box around the shutter. I probably do have enough equipment to do that at the moment, so I'm going to move on to that job. I ordered loads of things off eBay to start cracking on. The boilers and all the plumbing and the water tanks, etc. But they're not coming for ages. Like some of the things on there are not going to be here for like another 10 days, which is a nuisance. So all I can do is just keep cracking on with woodwork for now. Right, built this box frame out of pallet wood. Yes, another pallet wood box frame. Screwed that in over the shutter. I've now got to insulate this void. Then wrap Tyvek around that, and then I will put ply over the top and underneath. So that will then box this section in completely, and you'll no longer see the roller shutter. Nothing's fouling, it's still operating okay. And if I ever need to, it'll be relatively easy to remove to get to this, but hopefully, touch wood, I can't see that breaking in a hurry. So the boxing's insulated. I've still got to Tyvek it and then board it. Post lady just came, and ooh, the first thing from eBay's arrived. It's my big 80-litre water tank. Now, you might think 80 litres isn't enough for a van with a shower. But you've got to remember, Rupert's having a recirculating shower, so there'll be another smaller tank coming to build that. And if you want to know how to build a recirculating shower, well, I'm going to film how to do it step by step, like the Tyvek. So I'm going to pretty much finish boxing it. But I just whacked the camera on again because I've had another delivery. So I thought I'd do a little unboxing thing. No idea what's in here other than van stuff. Let's have a look, shall we? Try and hold the camera steady. Pop out. What we got? Paint. We got paint. That's what we've got. Trade paints. Because the undercarriage is all getting painted grey, black, sorry, and the box is all getting painted grey. The cab itself will eventually go NATO green, as will the centre caps on the wheels. So they're going to have sort of like a slight World War II kind of vibe. What have we got here? Yeah, more paint. So there's the paint. The paint has arrived for Rupert, living the dream. So I'm sorting out the undercarriage. I've got cleaning this off with my drill, the wire brush. I've got this and the white spirit to give it a wipe down after you give it off with the wire brush on the drill. And then it's a coat of this, which is basically a rip-off of Hammerite, so it just goes straight to metal in one. Wherever there's rust, you've got to scrub and scrub and scrub until there's no rust. You can't leave any. This is the only bit of rust on the van, the only bit that I have any real concern about. So if you look closely, I've buzzed at it with this until I've got to the edge of the good metal. This is all good down here, nothing to really worry about. And that line across the top of there, that's good metal. But this here, that's quite rusty. I live in Cornwall, so if I was to leave that, within 2 years, I'd be struggling to get an MOT. In 5 years, the van would be scrap. So, I've got to eat back at that with a grinder until it's as shiny as that, and then obviously it won't be smooth anymore, so I'll have to smooth it off with a bit of fiberglass filler and then prime it and then paint it. But that is the only bit of rust anywhere on the van that's any concern. The rest of it is just surface rust. As soon as it's been wire brushed off shiny and you paint it, that's fine. But it's just this I've got to attend to. So now ground away until there's nothing but good shiny metal left. Only shiny metal. We can give it a coat of this fiberglass filler, then sand that back and then paint it the same as the rest. That area's now been coated in the fiberglass where I ground away, and I've cleaned the fiberglass filler back with a grinder and just some coarse sandpaper. Now, if this was an area that was going to get spray painted, you'd skim a layer of Bondo type filler over the top and then sand that, so you've got something totally completely smooth. But as this area is just rough metal painted, if I go too smooth, it'll just stand out. There's like this weird super smooth spot amongst coarse industrial area, so I'm not going to bother skimming that. It's smooth enough. I'll just give it a little coat of undercoat, and that'll do. I'll stop it rusting. There's no rust left in it. I've removed all the rust. That's all I needed to do. That's a quick coat of undercoat. Give the undercoat a sand, and then it's ready to go. And this is a finished product. Nice, shiny black, protected undercarriage. You may wonder why I'm turning my attention to this when there's still so much to do inside, but I live in Cornwall and winter is coming. Rust waits for no man.